Ladies and gentlemen, we have now also been joined by our guest of honor, Shri Mukesh Dhirubhai Ambani. So I think we can get started. Thank you for joining us today. A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm honored, truly elated, and immensely ecstatic to be your host and Sutradhar this fine evening. Before we begin, we would like to gratefully acknowledge the valued support that has made this meaningful evening really possible. This prestigious event, ladies and gentlemen, is presented by Bajaj Beyond, powered by Piramal Finance Limited, Marico Limited, and co-powered by Godrej Industries Group. We sincerely thank our sponsors for supporting an initiative that stands at the intersection of purpose, inclusion, and progress of humanity. Ladies and gentlemen, today is International Human Solidarity Day, a day that reminds us of a truth so simple yet so profound. We rise only when we rise together. As the great poet John Donne once said, no man is an island entire of itself. Each one of us is a note in the symphony of humanity, and when we play in harmony, the music becomes eternal and ethereal. Established by the United Nations General Assembly in 2005, this day is not only a day on our calendar, it's a callion to the world. It urges us to recognize our shared destiny, to drive unity among nations and communities, and to uphold responsibilities that transcend borders. Imagine humanity as a vast ocean where every drop matters, every ripple counts. When one part of the ocean is disturbed, the entire tide feels the tremor. Tonight, let us pledge to be those ripples of change, creating waves of compassion and progress, which is what this evening truly stands for. And as they say, solidarity is not charity, ladies and gentlemen. It's equality in action, because when we fight poverty, reduce inequality, and champion sustainable development in its full throttle, we're not just solving problems, we're actually sculpting a future where every child dreams without fear and every voice is heard without a sense of prejudice. Ladies and gentlemen, longer before this book that we are going to be about to seeing getting launched, More from Less for More, Innovation's Holy Grail, confronts one of 21st century most urgent challenges, which is how can societies create access equality in the face of staggering inequality? Drawing from India's real-world breakthroughs, the book actually breaks down the science of affordable excellence, offering practical tools and frameworks that translate high-tech advancement into solutions for the poorest and the most underserved. As they say, ideas, when grounded in compassion and inclusion, have the power to move mountains. They are like these tiny seed, fragile yet capable of growing into full-throttle forest that can shelter generations. I think we are going to witness something like this evening. So ladies and gentlemen, actually to begin this evening on an auspicious note, may I request our distinguished dignitaries to kindly proceed and light the lamp. I'd like to call on the dais the following dignitaries for lighting of the lamp, beginning with Padma Vibhushan, Dr. Raghunath Anand Mashelkar, eminent scientist and institution builder, whose work, whose noteworthy body of legacy we are going to be celebrating today. Dr. Mashelkar, I would request you to please come near the lamp to light it up. Our chief guest, Honorable Shri Chandrakant Patil, the Minister of Higher and Technical Education and Parliamentary Affairs, Government of Maharashtra. So please join us. Our guest of honor, Padma Vibhushan, Professor Manmohan Sharma, Emeritus Professor of Eminence and former Director, Institute of Chemical Technology at Mumbai. Our guest of honor, Shri Mukesh Dhirubhai Ambani, Chairman and Managing Director, Reliance Industries Limited. And joining them near the lighting of the lamp will be Mr. Shailesh Haribhakti, Non-Executive Chairman and Independent Director on multiple boards, Mr. Nadir Godrej, Chairman and MD, Godrej Industries Group, Mr. Neeraj Bajaj, Chairman, Bajaj Auto Limited, Mr. Kripashankar Tiwari, Chairman, Eternal Corporate Media Private Limited, Ms. Sulaja Firodia Motwani, Founder and CEO, Kinetic Green Energy and Power Solutions Limited, and Mr. Alok Ranjan Tiwari, MD and CEO, Eternal Corporate Media Private Limited. Thank you so much to all the dignitaries. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a deeply meaningful day, and we gather here not merely to celebrate, but to actually ignite ideas that can transform lives. Tonight, we unveil a book that is not just an ink on paper or manifesto for inclusive progress. It's an icon that says that innovation is not a privilege, it's a promise. This evening is a bridge between aspiration and action and vision and victory. The book called More from Less for More, Innovation's Holy Grail, penned down by Padma Vibhushan Dr. Raghunath Ananta Mashelkar and Mr. Sushil Borde, is symbolic to human ingenuity. And tonight it's going to be riddled with a lot of insights and celebration of their brilliance, because these two noteworthy personalities and luminaries have really created an impact by creating significance for others. And at this juncture, I would like to actually felicitate all our chief guests and our guest of honor, and to present them with a memento and felicitate them, I'd like to call on stage the following guests, beginning with Mr. Shailesh Haribhakti. So if we can have you on stage. And joining him on stage is going to be Padma Vibhushan Dr. Raghunath Ananta Mashelkar and Mr. Kripashankar Tiwari. Thank you so much. And at this point, I'd like to call on stage our chief guest, Honorable Shri Chandrakant Patil, Minister of Higher and Technical Education and Parliamentary Affairs, Government of Maharashtra. सर, सबको बुलाया जाएगा. Can we get the memento, please, at this point? Mr. Haribhakti, can I request you to present them with the memento? पाटिल जी, मैं आपसे दरख्वास्त करूंगी कि आप Can I request you to take a seat here? हम चाहते हैं आप पूरे टाइम हमारे साथ बने रहे, so can I request you to sit here on the dais? All right, joining our presenters to felicitate our next dignitary is going to be, I call him a businessman, a visionary, but also an epic poet, Mr. Nadir Godrej. So if we can have you on stage, please, to felicitate our guest of honor. Ladies and gentlemen, give a big round of applause for Padma Vibhushan Professor Manmohan Sharma, Emeritus Professor of Eminence and former Director, Institute of Chemical Technology at Mumbai. Ladies and gentlemen, I've shared this science before. I'm reiterating myself. Every time you clap, your gray hair is turning black. So can we show them some more cheer and some more encouragement? Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today. So can I request you to please take a seat here on stage, sir? Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, to felicitate our next guest of honor, can I request the company of Mr. Neeraj Bajaj, Chairman Bajaj Auto Limited and CMD, Mukanand Limited, and Mr. Alok Ranjan Tiwari, MD and CEO at Eternal Corporate Media Private Limited, to felicitate our guest of honor, who is a visionary turning dreams into reality. And today we honor one of the greatest architects of India's growth story. Ladies and gentlemen, give a huge round of applause for Shri Mukesh Dhirubhai Ambani. Thank you so much for joining us today, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, we have to felicitate a very important dignitary guest of honor for whom we all have gathered. Can we felicitate together the game changer, the person full of intellect and Mata Saraswati? Ladies and gentlemen, can we give it up for Dr. Raghunath Mashelkar, for whom we have all gathered? And can I also request Mr. Nadir Godrej to be here for this very important moment, sir? And can I also request the company of Ms. Sulajja Motwani, please join us on stage. And can we also have Mr. Ajay Piramal join us on stage for this moment, sir? Sorry. And Mr. Nikhil Meshwani. Our dignitaries and chief guests, I only have one request: if we could come towards the center of the stage, because the photographers are under tremendous stress. They have to get the picture right. They've already requested me thrice. Please all look happy. Thank you, Ms. Motwani. Thank you, Mr. Godrej. Thank you, Mr. Piramal. Thank you, Mr. Nikhil. Can I request our chief guest and our guest of honor to please take their seats on the dais? Ladies and gentlemen, every great evening needs a voice that sets the tone, a thought that frames the purpose, and a vision that inspires the journey ahead. Tonight, as we celebrate solidarity, innovation, and inclusive progress, it's only fitting that we hear from a leader whose wisdom and foresight have been instrumental in shaping this meaningful gathering. May I request Mr. Shailesh Haribhakti to deliver and render the welcome address for all of us. It's always incredible listening to you, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, friends of India's mind and spirit, good evening, and welcome to an evening that will be remembered not for its formality, but for its meaning. There are moments when a gathering transcends an event and becomes a marker in time. This is one such moment. We are not merely assembled in a magnificent hall. We are assembled around an idea that innovation, when anchored in values, becomes destiny. This evening, we stand in reverence of a man whose life has altered the intellectual topography of our nation, Padma Vibhushan Dr. Raghunath Mashelkar. To speak of Dr. Mashelkar's 54 honorary doctorates is to state a fact. To understand what they represent is to feel humility. They are not ornaments of achievement. They are recognitions bestowed by the world upon a mind that refused to think small. A mind that taught India to innovate under constraint, to convert scarcity into strength, and to prove that world-class science can carry an Indian conscience. Dr. Mashelkar did not merely ask, can India do it? He asked, why should India not lead it? And the world answered 54 times. We are equally privileged this evening to be in the presence of a constellation of leaders who shape India not through rhetoric, but through quiet, relentless execution. Our chief guest, a statesman who understands that governance is not administration, but architecture. Architecture of opportunity, trust, and long-term progress. Our guests of honor, who represent the very best of enterprise and intellect. Among them, a businessman who I have admired for decades, whose name is synonymous not merely with scale, but with nation-building ambition. The most visible Asian industrialist of our time, who has shown that growth and purpose need not be trade-offs. Alongside him is one of the most revered professors. I could sense that the moment I entered this hall. People are here to pay homage to him as an educator whose scholarship has shaped generations, reminding us that ideas outlive institutions and that teaching is the highest form of leadership. This rare convergence of policy, industry, science, and scholarship is not accidental. It is curated. Which brings me to the unsung and unseen heroes of this evening, an exceptional organizing team. Individuals who did not ask, will this be impressive, but instead asked, will this endure? Every segment of today's program has been designed not for applause, but for afterthought, not for immediacy, but for lasting value. The book we launched today is not a product, it's a provocation. The film we shall witness is not a tribute, it is a reflection. The felicitation is not ceremonial, it is historical. This is a program that respects your time, your intellect, and your legacy. Friends, in a world obsessed with speed, we pause today to honor depth in an age of disruption. We celebrate direction for the future. And in an era of noise, we listen to science, to wisdom, to experience. May this evening inspire us to innovate, not just faster, but wiser. May it remind us that India's greatest advantage is not its markets or its demographics, but its moral imagination. On behalf of the organizing committee, it is my honor to welcome you all to an evening where ideas meet integrity and where the future bows respectfully to a life well lived. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hari Bhakti, for that inspiring welcome address, reminding us that this book is not a product, but rather a provocation. Ladies and gentlemen, every great idea begins as a spark, a thought that dares to challenge the ordinary and dream of the extraordinary. And tonight, we also have the conceptualizer behind this grand vision, a leader who understands that events like these are not just gatherings, they're actually movements that inspire change. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Kripashankar Tiwari, Chairman at Eternal Corporate Media Private Limited, for his Conceptualizer's address. So, welcome.
आज के समारोह के अभिनंदन मूर्ति, सत्कार मूर्ति, परम श्रद्धेय पद्म विभूषण डॉक्टर रघुनाथ माशेलकर साहब, मुख्य अतिथि महोदय माननीय मंत्री महाराष्ट्र सरकार श्री चंद्रकांत दादा पाटिल जी, विशेष अतिथि पद्म विभूषण प्रोफेसर MM शर्मा साहब, हमारे चेयरमैन ऑर्गेनाइजिंग कमेटी श्री शैलेश हरिभक्ति जी, उपस्थित देवियों और सज्जनों, सबसे पहले तो मैं हृदय से आप सबको प्रणाम करता हूं कि आपकी गरिमापूर्ण उपस्थिति में यह कार्यक्रम सुसंपन्न हो रहा है। आज मुझे कुछ बोलना है डॉक्टर माशेलकर साहब पर। मेरी भावनाएं इतनी एक साथ उभार मार रही कि मैं थोड़ा अपने को असमर्थ पा रहा हूं, मैं क्या बोलूं आप पर। एक श्लोक है कि असित गिरि समम स्याद कज्जलम सिंधु पात्रे सुर तरुवर शाखा लेखनी पत्र मुर्वीम लिखद यद गृहीत्वा शारदा सर्वकालम तदव तो गुणा नाम ईश्वरम नयाति। भगवान के गुणों की व्याख्या करना, वर्णन करना, कहा गया कि यदि माँ सरस्वती दिन रात धरती पर पूरे लिखती रहें, समुद्र को स्याही बना लो, पर्वत को समुद्र को दावात बनाइए, पर्वत को स्याही बनाइए, और देवलोक के पारिजात वृक्ष की टहनी की कलम बनाइए, तो भी भगवान के गुणों का वर्णन नहीं हो सकता है। ठीक मेरी वही भी एक साधारण व्यक्ति की वही मना स्थिति है। आप में जो साधुता, जो सज्जनता, जो मानवता मैंने देखी है। एक मेरे इंटरव्यू के दौरान आपने मुझे बताया, मैंने पूछा डॉक्टर माशेलकर साहब भगवान के बारे में, ईश्वर के बारे में आपकी क्या अवधारणा है। आपने कहा कृपाशंकर जी, यदि हम सब में अपने आप को देख सकें, सब में अपने आप को देख सकें और अपने आप में सबको देख सकें, तो हमें अलग से भगवान को देखने की आवश्यकता नहीं है। जिसने हमने ऐसा अपना विचार भाव दर्शन कराया हो, उसके बारे में मेरी वाणी स्वयं को असमर्थ पा रही कि मैं क्या कहूँ। एक वर्ष से मैंने बड़ा अनुनय विनय आपसे किया कि मुझे यह अवसर प्रदान करिए। आपने एक बहुत बड़ा यश कीर्ति मान सम्मान गौरव बढ़ाया है देश का। देश के पूर्व राष्ट्रपति स्वर्गीय डॉक्टर APJ अब्दुल कलाम साहब की आपकी अभिन्न घनिष्ठ मित्रता थी। आपने उन्हीं के पद चिन्हों पर, उन्हीं के भाव पथ पर चलते हुए आपको 48 ऑनरेरी डॉक्टरेट्स मिले थे विश्व भर से। आपने 54 प्राप्त किया है, तो मुझे अभिनंदन करने का एक सुअवसर प्रदान करिए, बड़ी कृपा होगी। और बार बार आपने विनम्रता के साथ मुझे अस्वीकार किया, नहीं नहीं रहने दीजिए, ठीक है। लेकिन वो विधि का विधान होता है, ईश्वर के विधान में जो कुछ लिखा है आज आपके सबके सम्मुख या सुसंपन्न होना था सो हुआ। मैं हृदय से आपको प्रणाम करता हूं कि आपने सम्मान करने का, अभिनंदन करने का हमें अवसर दिया। और सत्यता तो यह है कि 54 ऑनरेरी डॉक्टरेट्स पाकर डॉक्टर माशेलकर साहब जैसे तो वैसे ही हैं, लेकिन 54 ऑनरेरी डॉक्टरेट्स अपने आप धन्य हो गए डॉक्टर माशेलकर साहब को पाकर। कभी कभी व्यक्ति जब पद पर आसीन होता है तो व्यक्ति धन्य हो जाता है, लेकिन डॉक्टर माशेलकर साहब एक ऐसी विभूति हैं कि इन्हें पाकर के 54 ऑनरेरी डॉक्टरेट्स भी धन्य हो गए हैं। और आज मैं भगवान को लाख लाख धन्यवाद देता हूं। कैसा इतिहास में अद्भुत सुसंयोग बहुत कम घटित होता है। इस मंचासीन पद्म विभूषण डॉक्टर MM शर्मा साहब, देश के गर्व, भारत के स्वाभिमान, धनाध्यक्ष कुबेर बैठे हैं आदरणीय मुकेश भाई अंबानी साहब। मुकेश अंबानी साहब और डॉक्टर माशेलकर साहब दोनों गुरु भाई हैं। एक संबंध आपको और पता होना चाहिए। और दोनों को गुरु बैठे हुए हैं पद्म विभूषण प्रोफेसर MM शर्मा साहब। आप सबका आशीर्वाद मिला। और हमारे मुख्य अतिथि महोदय, मैंने देखा आप रेलवे स्टेशन पर बैठ करके राजकीय काम निपटाने वाले मंत्री हैं। ऐसा मंत्री मैंने आज तक नहीं देखा। तो ऐसा है, कुछ भगवान ने अद्भुत ऐसा सुसंयोग यहाँ बना दिया है कि सारे सब दिग्गज महात्मा जो पवित्र हृदय के हैं, पावन हृदय, जो इस समाज के लिए जिन्होंने कुछ किया है, करना चाहते हैं, सभी एक साथ मंच पर दिखाई दे रहे हैं। इसे मैं भगवान की बड़ी असीम कृपा मानता हूँ। और आज का दिवस अंतर्राष्ट्रीय मानव एकजुटता दिवस है। उसी पर बेस्ड आपकी पुस्तक भी है। और इससे ज़्यादा मैं मानवता के विराट व्यक्तित्व को लिए मैं क्या प्रार्थना करूं। मेरी भावनाएं हैं, मैं बहुत भावुक हूँ, क्योंकि 1 वर्षों का जो समय निकला इसमें आपको मनाने में, जो कि अब बनाने में मैं कह नहीं पा रहा हूँ, लेकिन आज एक बात मेरे हृदय में है, मैं आपके सामने उचित है कि अनुचित नहीं समझ पाता हूँ, लेकिन मैं कह सकता हूँ, कहना चाह रहा हूँ कि जिस तरीके से भारत की कुंडली में, भारत के भाग्य में डॉक्टर APJ अब्दुल कलाम की सेवाएं थी एक राष्ट्रपति के रूप में, मेरे हृदय से प्रार्थना है कि भगवान करे आप देश के राष्ट्रपति बने डॉक्टर माशेलकर साहब। देश का भविष्य, देश का भाग्य चमक उठेगा। इससे ज़्यादा मैं कुछ नहीं कह पा रहा हूँ। मैं आपके विराट व्यक्तित्व को नमन करता हूँ, वंदन करता हूँ, अभिनंदन करता हूँ। भगवान करे आप सुदीर्घायु हों और इसी तरीके से देश का, विश्व का मार्गदर्शन करते रहें, आपकी सेवाओं से विश्व आलोकित होता रहे। पुनः आप सबको प्रणाम करते हुए माशेलकर साहब को मैं हृदय से प्रणाम करता हूँ।
तिवारी जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। सरलता, सटीकता और स्पष्टता से भरा हुआ आपका संभाषण रहा ये। Ladies and gentlemen, some initiatives are driven by vision, others are fueled by passion, and tonight's celebration is powered by both. Behind this remarkable evening stands a leader who not only imagined this evening, but also tirelessly worked to bring it to life. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Alok Ranjan Tiwari, Managing Director and CEO at Eternal Corporate Private Limited, for his keynote for all of us. Alok, over to you.
आज के इस कार्यक्रम के मुख्य अतिथि महाराष्ट्र के माननीय कैबिनेट मंत्री श्री चंद्रकांत पाटिल जी, इस कार्यक्रम के विशिष्ट अतिथि और भारत के महान शिक्षाविद, वैज्ञानिक और लाखों लोगों के लिए एक मार्गदर्शक के तौर पर अपनी भूमिका निभा रहे पद्म विभूषण प्रोफेसर M.N. शर्मा जी, और देश और दुनिया के सर्वोच्च उद्योगपतियों में से एक एवं रिलायंस इंडस्ट्रीज लिमिटेड के चेयरमैन एवं मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर परम आदरणीय श्री मुकेश भाई अंबानी जी, आज के इस कार्यक्रम के मुख्य आकर्षण, हम लोगों के आधार स्तंभ आदरणीय पद्म विभूषण डॉक्टर रघुनाथ अनंत माशेलकर जी, हमारी ऑर्गेनाइजिंग कमेटी के चेयरमैन श्रीमान शैलेश हरिभक्ति जी, ऑर्गेनाइजिंग कमेटी के टीम मेंबर्स नीरज बजाज जी, नादिर गोडरेज जी, शुलज्जा फिरोडिया मोटवानी जी, और यहाँ पर उपस्थित सभी इंडस्ट्री लीडर्स, एकेडमिशियंस, ब्यूरोक्रेट्स और मीडिया के मेरे साथियों, देवियों और सज्जनों, आप सभी को मेरा सादर प्रणाम। आज का दिन अपने आप में बहुत विशेष है। 20 दिसंबर अंतर्राष्ट्रीय मानव एकजुटता दिवस के तौर पर हम लोग मनाते हैं। संयुक्त राष्ट्र संघ द्वारा घोषित यह दिन हमें याद दिलाता है कि मानवता की प्रगति तभी संभव है जब हम एक दूसरे के साथ खड़े हों, जब विकास केवल आंकड़ों तक सीमित न होकर अंतिम पंक्ति में खड़े व्यक्ति तक पहुँचे, तभी उसकी सार्थकता सिद्ध होती है। और शायद इसी कारण आज का यह आयोजन केवल कार्यक्रम नहीं, यह एक विचार है, एक दर्शन है और एक प्रतिबद्धता है। आदरणीय डॉक्टर माशेलकर का जीवन इस बात का जीवन प्रमाण है कि विज्ञान केवल प्रयोगशालाओं तक सीमित नहीं होता, विज्ञान समाज के लिए होता है। और आज हम जिस पुस्तक विमोचन का साक्षी बनने जा रहे हैं, मोर फ्रॉम लेस फॉर मोर, इनोवेशंस होली ग्रेल, जो डॉक्टर माशेलकर जी और सुशील बोडे द्वारा लिखित पुस्तक है, यह केवल पुस्तक नहीं है, यह एक प्रश्न है कि क्या उच्च तकनीक गरीबों के लिए काम कर सकती है, और यह पुस्तक पूरे विश्वास के साथ कहती है हाँ, कर सकती है। एक्सेस इक्वलिटी डिस्पाइट इनइक्वलिटी, यानी असमानता के बावजूद समान अवसर, यह विचार आज के समय की सबसे बड़ी आवश्यकता है और यह विचार डॉक्टर माशेलकर जी के पूरे जीवन का सार भी है। आज हम जिन महान व्यक्तियों की उपस्थिति में यह कार्यक्रम का आयोजन कर रहे हैं, वह अपने आप में भारत की सामूहिक शक्ति को दर्शाता है। माननीय श्री चंद्रकांत पाटिल जी, जो शिक्षा और नीति के माध्यम से राज्य का भविष्य गढ़ रहे हैं, प्रोफेसर M.M. शर्मा जी, जो लाखों छात्रों और वैज्ञानिकों के लिए स्वयं में प्रेरणा हैं, और परम आदरणीय श्री मुकेश अंबानी जी, जिन्होंने उद्योग को केवल व्यापार नहीं बल्कि राष्ट्र निर्माण का माध्यम बनाया है। और इस पूरे आयोजन को दिशा देने वाली हमारी ऑर्गेनाइजिंग कमेटी, जिसमें भारत के सर्वश्रेष्ठ उद्योगपति, जिसमें नादिर गोडरेज जी शामिल हैं, नीरज बजाज जी हैं, हर्ष मारीवाला जी हैं, KPIT के CMD रवि पंडित जी हैं, सुलज्जा फिरोडिया मोटवानी जी हैं, और तमाम विचारशील नेता हमारी इस ऑर्गेनाइजिंग कमेटी में शामिल हैं। उन सभी को मैं हृदय से बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूं। और सबसे मुख्य बात कहते हुए आपसे साझा करना चाहूँगा कि इस आयोजन की कल्पना करते समय हमारे मन में केवल एक प्रश्न था कि क्या हम एक ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म बना सकते हैं जहां उपलब्धि नहीं बल्कि उद्देश्य केंद्र में हो, जहां सम्मान व्यक्ति का नहीं उस विचार का हो जो समाज को आगे ले जाए। डॉक्टर माशेलकर की विनम्रता, उनकी सोच और उनका स्पष्ट निर्देश कि यह कार्यक्रम उनके सम्मान से अधिक मानवता के विचार पर केंद्रित हो, और यही इस आयोजन के और यही इस आज की इस कार्यक्रम की आत्मा है। अंत में मैं बस इतना कहना चाहूँगा कि आज यदि भारत दुनिया को कुछ दे सकता है तो वह है विज्ञान के साथ करुणा, नवाचार के साथ नैतिकता और विकास के साथ समावेशन। डॉक्टर माशेलकर जी, आपने हमें यही सिखाया है कि आप केवल वैज्ञानिक नहीं हैं, आप एक विचार हैं जो आने वाली पीढ़ियों को दिशा देता रहेगा, उनका मार्गदर्शन करता रहेगा। आप सभी का इस ऐतिहासिक शाम का हिस्सा बनने के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, आभार एवं प्रणाम।
आलोक जी के संभाषण से एक चीज़ बहुत बहुत केंद्रित निकली कि ये जो मंच है ये सिर्फ उपलब्धि के लिए नहीं बल्कि एक उद्देश्य के लिए बना हुआ है। थैंक यू सो मच आलोक। Ladies and gentlemen, some names are not just remembered, but they are actually revered. Our next guest of honor is a towering figure in the world of science, engineering, a mentor whose wisdom has shaped generation and whose contribution have left an indelible mark on India's academic and industrial landscape. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a quote that a teacher affects eternity. He can never tell where his influence stops. And he truly embodies this truth. His influence resonates in classrooms, laboratories, and industries across the world. And I think we all are very curious to hear from him. Can we give a big round of applause and please join me in welcoming Padma Vibhushan Professor Manmohan Sharma for his guest of honor address.
Our celebrity of the day, whom I've had the pleasure of knowing for more than 60 years, his co-author, Mrs. Mashelkar, other family members, our Honorable Minister, Mukesh. I have privilege of calling him by the first name. श्री हरिभक्ति कृपाशंकर जी, आपसे मिलने का अवसर मिला घर पे 2 बार, बड़ी प्रसन्नता हुई। Look, this book which has come out, Ramesh, I mean, is known by nickname Ramesh, Raghunath is his official name. He epitomizes more from less. How? He studied with no financial support. He rose without a mentor. He reached dizzy heights, has become an icon. Isn't it an example of more from less, less for more? It's a great occasion here that the dais represents more from less, and I want to compliment Mukesh because he has epitomized more from less. How? Every project they have put up has been done in shortest possible time in the global context at capex less than anywhere in the world. So, when we say more from less, less for more, here is a case fully represented on the dais. Our minister also is getting much more from less funds. What matters, Ramesh will always say, it has been my mission all my life that what matters are the ideas. Rest will follow. And a nation that doesn't innovate will peter out. I think that is one of the messages. Now, somehow this word innovation is used very loosely in India without realizing that without invention, innovations don't come. And our genes are getting expressed in Silicon Valley and not so much as they are capable within the country. Ramesh breathes innovation. What remarkable thing he has done in his dear mother's name, he has created award, grassroots innovations. I think I appeal to all of you to see what kind of persons have got that award. He has put his own money to institute that award. For me, it is a matter of great pleasure and pride that my association for so long in an enduring relationship, I am really thrilled that he, as an iconic figure, today is receiving that kind of attention which he more than deserves. I want to congratulate him heartily, warmly. I'm short of words to express what you have been able to accomplish. I want to tell you just example when he was Director General CSIR, how he made everyone in the ministry know how important is CSR. CSR works from depths of the ocean to rarefied air, that is aeronautics. You give us a problem, we'll solve. It is not easy to penetrate bureaucrats in Delhi. And he managed to penetrate not only bureaucrats, but also ministers, including finance minister, which is the hardest nut to crack. So it has been, his journey is most, I would say, most appealing. That if you have the passion, if you have the will, you will rise. And he has risen. In fact, sometimes I say, in Pune, you go and knock some place, even a shop, they will know there is a person called Haldikar, because he fought the Haldi patent, and he was Mashalkar, in the Maharashtrian pronunciation. So he is an iconic figure. For my institution, which I served all my life, here are persons, Mukesh is one of them. What a source of great pleasure for us that he set new standards in chemical industry. There are no parallels to what has been done. And I always give this example that they started with daily capacity of polyester more than the annual capacity of pioneers. Can you believe that? But it's a fact. So, ladies and gentlemen, you assembled here to pay tributes to this genius, great son of our country, Raghunath. And I pray that he keeps good health, keeps on innovating, and keeps on helping all of us. I think he's, as a great human being, forget about his excellence in innovations, in chemical engineering, in polymer science, but he's a great human being. I wish to pay my own tributes to him. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Sharma, for that incredibly endearing and beguiling address. Two big insights: without inventions, innovation does not exist. And if you have the will, come what may, you're going to rise. Ladies and gentlemen, up next, our next guest of honor will be sharing his perspectives with us. Some leaders don't just build businesses, they build nations. He is one such name whose name is synonymous with ambition, innovation, and relentless transformation. He has redefined what scale and impact mean for India, from creating the world's largest refining complex at Jamnagar to steering Reliance into retail and digital domains. His leadership has truly been a masterclass in foresight and execution. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Shri Mukesh Dhirubhai Ambani, Chairman and Managing Director, Reliance Industries Limited, a leader who doesn't just predict the future but actually creates it. Shri Ambani, over to you.
Good evening. Today indeed is a very, very special evening for me personally. To have, first and foremost, Professor Sharma, right, who has had the largest impact on me since I was 20 years old. I'll give my age away, it's 44 years. And Dr. Mashelkar, in my personal life, I got to know him in the 90s, and both these personalities have influenced my thinking and are responsible for some of the outcomes that Reliance has achieved. And that is why I want to start with my deep respects to Professor Sharma, because our dynamic education minister, Shri Chandrakant Dada Patilji, is here. And good evening to all the distinguished guests, my fellow members on the dais, members of the scientific community, dear colleagues from industry, and above all, good evening to the wonderful Mashelkar family, Vaishali ji, Shruti, Amay, Sushil, right? All of you are behind this celebration of celebrating Dr. Mashelkar. So I join all of you in honoring an extraordinary Indian scientist for his unique achievement. 54 honorary doctorates, 54, right? And for most people like me, like even when I was finishing my MBA, my father called me and said, "Jaldi se aaja, otherwise I'll find somebody else." And I dropped 1 quarter and joined him. So to get 1 degree is difficult, and Dr. Mashelkar has earned like these as if they are like some frequent flyer flying miles in terms of where he goes so effortlessly. When I congratulate him on these PhDs, right, he always like, I initially started, but like after his 50th or something, he'll say, "Arey Mukesh, but the real work is yet to begin. Ye sab hote rehta hai, but let's do the real work." And that is how I have seen, we worked very, very closely over the last 2 or 3 decades now. And for me, Dr. Mashelkar is like that proverbial rich tree laden with fruits, which always bends low. He is humility personified. I have seen it. Even when a young chemical engineer asks him anything in our meetings, I will thump the table, but he will say, "Acha, samjhao," like he will look at it. And I think that I continuously learn in every single interaction with him. Friends, in Dr. Mashelkar's life journey, I see the journey of modern India. A young boy studying under street lights grows up to illuminate the scientific imagination of an entire nation. All he had in his childhood was really his mother, Srimati Anjani ji's love and his own steely determination and diligent efforts. Otherwise, think of a Maharashtrian boy studying under street lights with nothing to become what he has become today. He has risen from scarcity to global respect. In his books and speeches, he has often described Indian society as an iceberg where most people live below visible surface. And he always says, our challenge as scientists, entrepreneurs, and innovators is to lift this iceberg above the surface so that everyone can have the quality of life they deserve. And this really is common between Professor Sharma, Dr. Mashelkar, and my father. Right? My father, Dhirubhai, founded Reliance with the sole aim of saying we must develop the quality of life of India. India and Indians must move forward. And that is what the purpose of Reliance was. Today, we are in a new India. This new India is an India full of young dreamers. Millions of dreams are becoming a reality in India itself. And not, as Professor Sharma said, by chasing them in foreign lands. We are doing it in our own country. And Dr. Mashelkar also says that ye yahi mumkin hai, we will do it in India. And he has done this in CSIR, in rebuilding world-class scientific ecosystem, in defending India's traditional knowledge in the global patent battles, in advising governments and corporates on innovation. And above all, for me, in building Reliance as a science and deep led, deep tech-led country. I go back to mid-90s when he talked to us at that time from Government of India Science Technology. I still remember Ajay, Swati, they were all around and I called him even then Doc. And he said, Doc, like I had told him that, Doc, I want Reliance to become a truly innovative company. We are good in project execution. Professor Sharma always tells me that you buy technology, right? When will you make your own technology? And that is how our association started. And if I give credit on vision, I think that bulk of Reliance's vision, I have always validated with Professor Sharma. He has corrected it. And for the record, right, it has been royalty-free. The only royalty that has happened is he's seen a smile on our face. But every single thing that we've done, right, he has spent hours and hours. And after that, with Dr. Mashilkar, he has really been involved hands-on with us in terms of from the trenches. And over the last 2 decades, he has been very much an integral part of what Reliance has achieved. And I can say today with great pride that we have over 100,000 technical professionals in Reliance out of our 550,000 people. All of them, right, are now at the threshold of really being a deep innovation, deep tech, science-led company. And that is what Dr. Mashilkar has contributed to Reliance. I had told him that if we want to, I will take 3 hours to really enunciate his contribution to Reliance. So I just want to share with this audience. When we started, he was the first to really bring in the Reliance Innovation Council, where we brought in a lot of Nobel laureates, global thinkers, to really talk to our people in terms of saying, what does local innovation mean? And this we started in the year 2000. It was his idea, right? And that Reliance Innovation Council with grassroots capabilities in Reliance have now spread, and they have become a movement. They are now basically our culture. Many years ago, right, he told me that Reliance must become a deep tech company. It should be different from those in the other advanced countries. The formula he suggested then, which was slightly different from more for less for more, was extreme affordability. And I still remember Gandhian engineering. His latest book, which we are going to inaugurate today, More from Less for More, and produce more using the latest technology with less natural resources and financial resources to benefit more and more people, is nothing but a philosophy that I have seen him practice for the last 30 years. I still remember when India sent its space mission, he had mentioned to me that, look, India has sent a rocket to the Mars for less than the cost of a Hollywood movie. This is what Indian corporates should do with self-reliant efforts to offer products and services of the highest quality to improve lives of common Indians. I think that at Reliance, we have taken his vision, and we are always grateful for you to actually implement, and we've done this beyond the area of chemical engineering. So Geo is a classic example where you were on my board. There were lots of disbelievers in Geo for many years in terms of saying, and today, in my view, it has catapulted India into the digital mainstream of the world. In terms of where we are, if we want to lead digital, I think the idea of us being the lowest data and with the world entering the intelligence age, right? Geo lays that foundation. Thank you for really describing the Geo story in this book, Doc. Now, one of the things that Professor Sharma, myself, particularly my father, believed in was that if India imports 80% of its energy, we can never become rich. Whatever else we do, we have to solve these issues. And I can say that like when we started, Dr. Mashelkar again said, with everything, one good thing is that age actually increases his energy. Whenever I tell him we want to do this, he says, yes, from tomorrow I'm putting 24 hours on it, and we will have many conference calls and do it. So he set up a new energy council, which we set up a few years ago. I can say that with great confidence with the people and the work that we have done is that we are at the doorsteps of solving local energy, of not using solar only as a 4-hour fuel. We can use solar to really solve some of the problems that India has to solve for a long time. And I will always be grateful to you to make sure that like you have laid the foundation and we will show the way as to how we can make green and clean energy available in abundance and affordable way with green fuels to not only India, but most of the world. And that will be the best tribute that we can pay for this path of less for more. He has taught us all to see Reliance not as an industrial company, but as a deep tech and science company for which you are the only one who can take credit, and I will always be grateful. My dear friends from the business community, I must mention one more thing I have learned from Dr. Mashelkar. One day he told me, Mukesh, technology without compassion is just machinery. Technology with compassion becomes a social movement. I have reflected a lot upon this. The world is full of intelligent people. Now the world also has entered a new era of artificial intelligence. And of course, we need AI. We must become world leaders in AI. But above all, we need empathy and compassion even more. By combining intelligence with empathy, prosperity with purpose, India can present a new model of development to the rest of the world. Dear friends, there are two more qualities that all of us, and especially young Indians, should learn from this proud son of India. And both these qualities seem to grow with his age. One, as I said, is his passion. Whenever he talks, whether he's talking to politicians, businessmen, young students, young employees at Reliance, he is always passionate and in the moment. His other quality is his keen and tireless pursuit of knowledge. He is a true Gyan Yogi, a lifelong learner, and he generously shares his learning. He is all the time sharing his knowledge, his rich experience with the IITs, IIMs, and even small local colleges. This is because he wants India to become a nation of world-class universities and research institutions. Dear friends, as we honor Dr. Mashelkar on his almost unparalleled achievement, I wish to share with you another important reflection. He is the best known bridge between the scientific community and the business community. But India needs more bridge builders like him. We need much stronger integration of Indian business with Indian universities and research institutions. This is how India can become a deep tech superpower. An India where AI, quantum, synthetic biology, advanced materials, space technologies, healthcare solutions, and new agricultural practices are invented through the joint efforts of our scientists, enterprises, with the right government policies, and our young entrepreneurs always create less for more. Dear Doc, I am sure that this has been your lifelong dream. You have ignited millions of Indian minds with your words and deeds. Your life tells every Indian child, it doesn't matter where you start. What matters is how big you dream, how hard you work, and how deeply you care. On behalf of all of us at Reliance, on behalf of this audience, and on behalf of a grateful nation, thank you, Dr. Mashelkar, for inspiring India. Thank you for inspiring us. And thank you for shaping a future where India will not just join the world, but lead it. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in celebrating one of India's greatest son, Dr. Raghunath Anant Mashelkar. Let us all give him a thundering applaud. And thank you, sir, for being an inspiration to millions. Thank you and Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ambani, for that endearing and very candid address for all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, his address reminded me of this quote by Brené Brown, who said that stories are nothing but data with soul. And it's amazing how he vividly put together those anecdotes in conversation with Dr. Mashelkar and Professor Sharma about how they both inspired him to metamorphose Reliance into a deep tech and scientific company. Truly, great mentors can shape great minds, and those minds together can shape nations. Thank you so much, Mr. Ambani. Can we give him a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen? Ladies and gentlemen, every milestone in education and governance needs a torchbearer. A leader who not only understands policy, but also envisions progress that touches every student, every institution, and subsequently every citizen. Our chief guest this evening is one such leader whose work has been pivotal in shaping Maharashtra's higher and technical education landscape. Honorable Shri Chandrakant Patil, Minister of Higher and Technical Education and Parliamentary Affairs, Government of Maharashtra, is a statesman known for his clarity of vision and commitment to empowering youth through knowledge and skill development. Can we give a huge round of applause for Mr. Patil as he makes his way onto the podium to share his thoughts with us?
मुकेश भाई अच्छा बिजनेस करते हैं हम जानते थे, लेकिन अच्छा बोलते भी है, ये पहली बार से। और डॉक्टर माशेलकर जी के साथ काफ़ी साल वो रहे हैं अलग अलग रोल में, तो उन्होंने जो भी कहा है वो अपने अनुभव के आधार पर कहने के कारण अब उनके बारे में कहने के लिए मेरे पास कुछ बचा नहीं। लेकिन मैं कुछ बोलूँ नहीं तो इसके बाद आप लोग मुझे बुलाएंगे नहीं। इसलिए इस कार्यक्रम में अलग अलग वक्ताओं में से एक वक्ता के रूप में बहुत कम शब्दों में डॉक्टर रघुनाथ माशेलकर जी का मेरा संबंध, उस संबंधों से उनके बारे में, उनके व्यक्तित्व को मैंने जो जाना, वह कहते कहते उन्होंने जिस विषय को शुरू किया है उस विषय में और एक दो कल्पनाएं आप सबके सामने रखना चाहता हूँ। एक बड़ा मौका मुझे मिला है, देश की बहुत बड़ी संपत्ति इस हॉल में एकत्रित आई है। एक अंदाजे से मैंने मुकेश भाई से लेकर एक एक का बैठे बैठे अंदाज़ा लिया कि इतना इनका सालाना टर्नओवर कितना होगा। तो पहला तो मेरा अंदाज चूक गया मुकेश भाई के बारे में, या हमारे मित्र बैठे हैं, तो मैंने कहा कि 6 लाख करोड़ एनुअल बिजनेस होगा। बोले यार क्या बात कर रहे हैं। तो वही मेरा अंदाजा चूक गया, तो इससे भी ज़्यादा उनका है। और एक एक काउंट करके अंदाजे से 20 लाख करोड़ से भी ज़्यादा बिजनेस वाले लोग यहाँ बैठे हैं। तो माशेलकर जी का सबसे बड़ा वैशिष्ट्य यह है कि वह ऐसी गरीबी में पढ़े और बड़े हुए कि जिसमें 2 समय का खाने की भी मोहताज थी। पढ़ाई के लिए माताजी को दूसरे से पैसे लेने पड़े, और आज वो ऐसे एक ऊंचाई पर आकर बैठे हैं जहाँ सारे लोग खड़े रहकर जो पैसे में खेलते हैं, जो बड़ी प्रोडक्ट्स बनाते हैं, ऐसे लोगों ने खड़े रहकर उनको स्टैंडिंग एक दूसरे से सम्मान दिया। उसी में ही उनका व्यक्तित्व की ऊंचाई आती है। आज मंच पर कई लोग विराजमान हैं, वो सब आपको मालूम ही है, इसलिए उनका फिर से एक बार नामोल्लेख करने में समय नहीं गवाऊंगा। मैं ये कहूँगा कि 8-10 साल पहले पूना में जब मैं कोल्हापुर से जाकर एमएलए बना, हमारे राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष अमित भाई शाह जी ने ये कहा कि आपको पूना से लड़ना है। आई एम फ्रॉम कोल्हापुर, बेसिकली आई एम फ्रॉम मुंबई, यहाँ के सिद्धार्थ कॉलेज का मैं विद्यार्थी हूँ। तो जब पूना में मैं कोथरूड कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी में लड़ने के लिए आया, तब माशेलकर जी मेरे कोथरूड की रेसिडेंट है, मेरे वोटर है, तो उनसे मेरा परिचय हुआ और मुझे महसूस हुआ कि कर्तृत्व और नम्रता, ये दोनों का कॉम्बिनेशन बहुत कम दिखाई देता है। तो माशेलकर जी में एक कर्तृत्व भी मैंने देखा, जैसे आप उनका अभी हम लोग सम्मान करने के लिए आए हैं कि 54 डिलीट उनको मिली, 84 का रिकॉर्ड है, वो जल्दी से जल्दी उस रिकॉर्ड को भी तोड़ेंगे। और जब वो 84 का रिकॉर्ड वर्ल्ड का तोड़ेंगे तो इससे भी बड़ा ऑडिटोरियम लेना पड़ेगा। और भी 2 चीज़ों के लिए हम सब लोग प्रार्थना करें, क्योंकि ही इज़ एलिजिबल फॉर दैट। वो एक दूसरे से दुनिया में सबसे बड़े साइंटिस्ट भी माने जाते हैं, थिंकर भी माने जाते हैं। तो नोबल के दृष्टि से, नोबल की दिशा में उनका प्रवास चल रहा है, ये मेरा फीलिंग भी है, मेरी जानकारी भी है। तो हम सब लोग उसके लिए भी उनको शुभकामनाएं देंगे। और देश का ऐसा रत्न है कि जिन्होंने देश का नाम पूरे दुनिया में पहुंचाया, तो भारत रत्न की भी ओर उनका प्रवास चले, इसके लिए हम लोगों ने शुभकामनाएं देना चाहिए। तो ऐसे ऊंचाई का व्यक्तिमत्व होने के बावजूद भी नम्रता कितनी, हर व्यक्ति को पूछताछ करना, हर व्यक्ति के बारे में कुछ ना कुछ करने का प्रयत्न करना। और सबसे महत्व की बात, जिस विषय पर उन्होंने आप सबको इकट्ठा लाया है कि मोर फ्रॉम लेस फॉर मोर, जिसके बारे में और 1-2 बातें मैं जोड़ने वाला हूँ कि किस प्रकार से आप आपकी संपत्ति का किसी समाज की आवश्यकता के लिए उपयोग करके उससे भी क्वांटिटी में बिजनेस बढ़ने के कारण पहले से भी ज़्यादा अमीर हो सकते हैं। तो लगातार ये माशेलकर जी ने प्रयत्न किया कि हर व्यक्ति जो गरीब है उसको ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा चीज़ें कैसी मिले। तो इसलिए ऐसे एक विद्वान और नम्र व्यक्तित्व के बारे में मैं उनके संपर्क में आया, इसलिए मैं बहुत बड़ा भाग्यवान समझता हूँ। 2020 में मोदी जी ने नई शिक्षा नीति का ऐलान किया, न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी। महाराष्ट्र में उस समय गवर्नमेंट थी जो देश में ऐसा एक ग्रुप बन रहा है कि जो संघ राज्य पद्धति को मानने के लिए तैयार नहीं, जिसका नेतृत्व करती है ममता बनर्जी, कि जिनका यह कहना है कि केंद्र जो करेगा वो हम नहीं करेंगे, केंद्र निर्णय लेने तो हम नहीं करेंगे इम्प्लीमेंट। तो हमारे साथ बैठने वाले हमारे उद्धव जी फिर उस ग्रुप में जाकर बैठे, तो उन्होंने 20 में मोदी जी की न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी के बारे में निर्णय किया कि केंद्र ने निर्णय लिया है, हम नहीं इम्प्लीमेंट करके। लेकिन उनको कम से कम कमेटी बनानी पड़ी, तो माशेलकर जी उसका अध्यक्ष बने। उनकी सरकार जाते जाते और नई एकनाथ शिंदे जी की सरकार आते आते मैं एजुकेशन मिनिस्टर बना। मैं ABVP अखिल भारतीय विद्यार्थी परिषद का ऑल इंडिया जनरल सेक्रेटरी तक पहुंचा। देश में एक भी यूनिवर्सिटी ऐसी नहीं कि जहां मैं 4 बार नहीं गया। तो माशेलकर जी ने जो चिंतन किया न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी के बारे में, वो सारा का सारा शिक्षा मंत्री के नाते मुझे मिला। और उसको लेकर हमने जो दौड़ना शुरू किया, मोदी जी ने मुझे कहा कि आपके पास रेवेन्यू मिनिस्टर था, PWD मिनिस्ट्री आपके पास थी, एग्रीकल्चर आपके पास थी, PWD आपके पास थी, लेकिन मैं सोच समझ कर ये दे रहा हूँ कि न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी को भगाना है। माशेलकर जी ने जो चिंतन हमको कागज़ पर लिख कर दिया कि किस दिशा में जाना है, उस चिंतन को पकड़कर हम इतना भागे कि अब न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी के इम्प्लीमेंटेशन में महाराष्ट्र देश में फर्स्ट है। सबसे ज़्यादा इम्प्लीमेंटेशन हम कर रहे हैं, तो इसमें सारा मार्गदर्शन हमको माशेलकर जी का मिलता है। अभी जो विषय उन्होंने उनकी किताब के माध्यम से उनका जो चिंतन है, वो इस चिंतन को उस किताब में उतारा और अब आप सबको अपील किया, जिसको बड़े पैमाने पर लोगों ने फॉलो किया है, लेकिन मुकेश भाई ने ज़्यादा फॉलो किया ऐसा मैं मानता हूँ कि उन्होंने मोबाइल इतना सस्ता कर दिया कि एक सामान्य आदमी भी, यानी काम करने वाली घर में आने वाली महिला भी आराम से उसको यूज़ करती है, क्योंकि पहले उसका 100 रुपया प्रति मिनट होता था, अब तो 10 पैसे भी नहीं, और कई उनके प्लान तो फ्री भी है। तो ऐसे मुकेश भाई ने जिस प्रकार से उनके इस विचार को पकड़ा, मजाक में हम कहते हैं कि भाई बॉर्डर पे जाने वाला जो सोल्जर है उसको हर रोज़ अपने पत्नी के साथ वो गप्पे मारता है और हर रोज़ एक दूसरे को देखते हैं, वो बहुत कम शब्दों में कम पैसे में वो एक दूसरे से इंटरेक्शन करते हैं। तो इसी प्रकार के सामान्य आदमी को बहुत सस्ते में चीज़ें मिली, ये गोदरेज ने भी प्रयत्न किया। रेफ्रिजरेटर, मैं माशेलकर जी और मेरे में साम्य है कि वो जिस गरीबी से आए हैं उससे भी ज़्यादा गरीबी से मैं आया हूँ। मेरे माता पिताजी दोनों मफतलाल में मिल मजदूर थे, और मिल मजदूर के घर में रहते हुए कभी कभी क्या कहेंगे पूर्व संचित होता है। मेरे पिताजी थे, माताजी थी मिल में मजदूर, बाद में मैं टेक्सटाइल मिनिस्टर बना, और बड़े बड़े मिल वाले, टेक्सटाइल मिल वाले मेरे पास मीटिंग के लिए आने लगे, कहीं ना कहीं पॉलिसी के बारे में आए। तो मेरे घर में कभी रेफ्रिजरेटर नहीं था, तब गोदरेज जी ने वो छोटा रेफ्रिजरेटर नहीं बनाया, इसलिए नहीं हमारे घर में था, तो उन्होंने बनाया जैसे मुकेश जी ने मोबाइल सस्ता किया, वैसे उन्होंने रेफ्रिजरेटर बनाया। लेकिन मुकेश जी ने मोबाइल के चार्जेस कम करने से उनका पैसा नहीं कम हुआ, ज़्यादा लोग यूज़ करने लगे और ज़्यादा पैसा मिलने लगा। छोटे रेफ्रिजरेटर भी पहले बड़ा था इसलिए यूज़ नहीं करते थे, छोटा बन गया तो ज़्यादा लोग यूज़ करने लगे। तो ऐसे कई क्षेत्र अब चुनने पड़ेंगे। जैसे सैनिटरी नैपकिन के बारे में, नॉर्मल सैनिटरी नैपकिन 50 रुपये से आगे मिलेगा, लेकिन भारत सरकार ने अब 10 रुपये में 10 सैनिटरी नैपकिन डेवलप किए, तो जो यूज़ नहीं करती थी, अफोर्ड नहीं करती थी, वो यूज़ करने लगे। फिर बड़ा विषय आया है कि सैनिटरी नैपकिन वैनिशिंग का क्या करना, तो कई लोगों ने बनाया, लेकिन पुणे के एक लड़के ने एक अच्छा सैनिटरी नैपकिन वैनिशिंग बनाया है। पूरे दिन में 100 सैनिटरी नैपकिन डालने के बाद भी इतनी सी ऐश बनती है जो कहीं भी ज़मीन में गाड़ने से प्रदूषण भी नहीं होता। तो कई महिलाओं का, नॉट ओनली घरों में काम करने वाली महिला, सभी महिलाओं का एक बड़ा प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व किया। लेकिन सॉल्व करते करते अब सैनिटरी नैपकिन वैनिशिंग के मशीन की ऑर्डर उसको इतनी मिलने लगी कि वो उससे अमीर भी हो गई। तो सामान्य आदमी की आवश्यकता को ध्यान में लेकर जब आप सस्ती चीज़ बनाते हैं तो उससे आपकी प्रॉपर्टी कम नहीं होगी, वो तो दुगुना तिगुना बढ़ेगी, क्योंकि यूज़ करने वाले ज़्यादा बढ़ेंगे। इसलिए इस किताब के प्रकाशन से ये पूरा जो एक दिशा है इंडस्ट्री को इन्होंने दी है, उसके लिए भी मैं उनका अभिनंदन करता हूँ। महाराष्ट्र सरकार को केंद्र की नई शिक्षा नीति इम्प्लीमेंट करने के लिए जो उन्होंने योगदान दिया, उसके लिए भी उनका मैं आभार व्यक्त करता हूँ। अभी उन्होंने 1-2 महीने पहले मुझे फ़ोन किया कि जियो यूनिवर्सिटी का प्रपोज़ल बहुत दिनों से पड़ा है। मैंने कहाँ पड़ा है, आप कोई आदमी भेजो, मैं तुरंत करता हूँ। तो जियो यूनिवर्सिटी का कंसेप्ट मैंने जब पढ़ा तो इतना स्पीडीली हमने उसको भगाया कि लास्ट वीक के अधिवेशन में उसको पारित भी किया। अब जियो यूनिवर्सिटी इस जून से एडमिशन ले पाएंगी। तो मुकेश जी को हमने जियो यूनिवर्सिटी दिया यह न कहते हुए मैं उनका आभार व्यक्त करता हूँ कि उस यूनिवर्सिटी में बड़े पैमाने पर फैकल्टीज़ विदेश से वो लाने वाले हैं, कई नए अभ्यासक्रम वहाँ शुरू करने वाले हैं। तो ऐसे सारी चीज़ों में माशेलकर जी पुश करते हैं। और उनका पुश करना ये हम सब लोगों को बहुत आनंद का विषय होता है कि भाई माशेलकर जी ने एक काम बताया, कभी बताते नहीं, जो बताया वो भी जियो का बताया। तो ऐसे सारे विषयों के बारे में मैं उनका अभिनंदन करता हूँ। 1 जनवरी को उनका जन्मदिन है, तो अभी से उनको हम शुभकामनाएं देंगे। डॉक्टर माशेलकर जी, आप बहुत जियो और वो 84 डिलीट वाला दुनिया का रिकॉर्ड भी मोड़ो, और जल्दी से जल्दी हम सब लोग को सेलिब्रेट करने के लिए मौका दीजिए। जय हिंद, जय महाराष्ट्र।
थैंक यू सो मच मिस्टर पाटिल। बहुत बहुत अभिनंदन आपका, इतना ज्ञानवर्धक और प्रेरणादायक उपदेश और संभाषण आपने हमारे साथ में यहाँ साझा किया। Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to unveil and unravel a book which, as per Mr. Shailesh sir, is not just a product but a provocation, a book that doesn't only ask tough questions but actually gives answer, and a book that dares to challenge the status quo. I'm talking about the book More from Less for More, Innovation's Holy Grail, a clarion call to humanity, co-authored by 2 virtuosos, Padma Vibhushan Dr. Raghunath Anant Mashelkar, a global icon of scientific leadership, and also his co-author, Mr. Sushil Borde, a thought leader in innovation ecosystem. So firstly, what I'd like you to do is for more dignitaries to join our existing dignitaries on stage for unveiling this book. I'd like to call on stage Mr. Neeraj Bajaj, Mr. Nadir Godrej, and Mrs. Sulajja Firodia Motwani, if you could all join us on stage. And ladies and gentlemen, can we also give a big round of applause for the co-author of this book, Mr. Sushil Borde. Sushil sir, please join us on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, unveiling for the very first time, More from Less for More, Innovation's Holy Grail, a clarion call to humanity, co-authored by Dr. Raghunath Anant Mashelkar and Mr. Sushil Borde. Can I also request Mr. Ajay Piramal to join us on stage, and along with Mr. Piramal, can I request Mr. Nikhil Meshwani and Mr. Hetal Meshwani to please join us on stage. Nikhil Meshwani and Hetal Meshwani, please join us on stage. And dignitaries, our guests of honor, our chief guests, can I request you all to please come to the center of the stage so that our photographers can click great pictures of all of you and make sure that they freeze this memory for a very, very long time to come. Ladies and gentlemen, now would be a great moment to put your hands together, hands up in the air. Thank you so much. Please continue to be on stage. Next, we would like to launch the coffee table book on Dr. Raghunath Mashelkar's life journey and his remarkable contributions. Can I have the coffee table make its way on stage? Mrs. Patil. Mrs. Mashelkar, sorry, please आइए. Ladies and gentlemen, unveiling and unveiling the coffee table book on Dr. Raghunath Mashelkar's life journey and remarkable contribution. It chronicles his lessons of brilliance, resilience, relentless pursuit. Mr. Nikhil Meshwani, if we can have you on stage. We want you for the entire time. Mr. Nikhil Meshwani, Hetal Meshwani, if we can have you on stage. So there is a third set also, so please be here. Stay with us. Ladies and gentlemen, truly a monumental and epoch-making occasion as we launch the coffee table book on Dr. Raghunath Mashelkar's life journey and incredibly deep and remarkable contributions. Thank you so much. Dignitaries, please be on stage because picture abhi baki hai. हम ज्ञान के सारे चक्षु आज खोल के ही जाएंगे because we also have the third book launch. This book is authored and penned down by Professor M.M. Sharma. इसका जो अंग्रेजी launch है वो 2 महीने पहले हो चुका है, the English version and rendition of this book. Right now we are unveiling the Hindi edition of his book. It's called Divya Vaigyanik. It's not just a biography, it's a tribute to the brilliance, humility and relentless pursuit of excellence of Padma Vibhushan Professor Manmohan Sharma. Can we have the book with us on stage? Divya Vaigyanik, which essentially captures a sense of a man whose ideas have transformed chemical engineering and whose mentorship has created legacies in academia and industry alike. And through the stories that Mr. Ambani was delineating, it was very evident the impact that his work and his book has created. Some lives are so extraordinary that they become textbooks of inspiration, and Divya Vaigyanik is definitely one such book. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Nikhil ji, ab aap ja sakte hain. Now you can heave a sigh of relief. All the dignitaries, thank you so much for joining us for this moment. A big round of applause for all our dignitaries for sharing their thoughts with us and for cheering the erudites, the academicians in their moment when they are sharing some thought-provoking ideas with the world which have the promise to change the nation. Can I request all the dignitaries to take 5 minutes break from being on dais and be with the audience because we have a very important film that we want to show you all. Ladies and gentlemen, every great life is a story, and some stories deserve to be told on the biggest canvas possible. Tonight, we invite you to witness a journey that is nothing short of legendary. A journey of a boy who dared to dream big beyond boundaries, beyond self-limiting beliefs, who turned challenges into stepping stones, and whose ideas have touched millions of lives. What you're going to be witnessing on screen is not just a film, it's a celebration of resilience, brilliance, and relentless pursuit of deep-rooted purpose. So at this juncture, I would request you all to fasten your seatbelts and let your hearts open wide, because what you're about to see is more than a biography, it is an odyssey of inspiration. Can we witness the extraordinary life and legacy of Padma Vibhushan Dr. Raghunath Anand Mashelkar on the screen right now?
कुछ लोग सिर्फ इतिहास नहीं बनाते, वे भविष्य की दिशा भी निर्धारित करते हैं। वे केवल उपलब्धियां नहीं गढ़ते, बल्कि राष्ट्र की चेतना को ऊंचाई प्रदान करते हैं। उनके विचार प्रकाश स्तंभ बनकर खड़े रहते हैं और पीढ़ियां उनकी रोशनी में अपना मार्ग तलाशती हैं। ऐसे ही एक युग प्रवर्तक व्यक्तित्व का नाम है पद्म विभूषण डॉक्टर रघुनाथ माशेलकर। डॉक्टर माशेलकर का नाम केवल वैज्ञानिक उपलब्धियों का पर्याय नहीं, बल्कि भारत की आत्मा, संघर्ष, संकल्प और उज्जवल भविष्य का प्रतीक है। दुनिया में भारतीय विज्ञान का परचम लहराने वाले इस महान व्यक्तित्व ने अपने जीवन, ज्ञान और कर्म के प्रकाश से राष्ट्र को निरंतर गौरवान्वित किया है। भारत के वैज्ञानिक इतिहास में एक स्वर्णिम अध्याय तब जुड़ा जब डॉक्टर माशेलकर को देश और दुनिया की 54 प्रतिष्ठित यूनिवर्सिटीज ने मानद डॉक्टरेट की उपाधि प्रदान की। यह किसी भी भारतीय इंजीनियर वैज्ञानिक को अब तक प्राप्त सर्वोच्च संख्या है। एक ऐसा ऐतिहासिक कीर्तिमान जिसने भारत का गौरव बढ़ाया है। इससे पहले 48 मानद डॉक्टरेट की उपाधियों का रिकॉर्ड भारत के पूर्व राष्ट्रपति भारत रत्न डॉक्टर एपीजे अब्दुल कलाम के नाम था और आज उनके प्रिय मित्र तथा महान वैज्ञानिक डॉक्टर माशेलकर ने इस उपलब्धि को आगे बढ़ाते हुए इतिहास में अपना नाम स्वर्णाक्षरों में दर्ज करा लिया है। लेकिन इस उपलब्धि के पीछे एक तपस्वी संघर्ष की कहानी है। 1 जनवरी 1943 को गोवा के माशेल गांव में जन्मे रमेश नामक बालक का बचपन अभाव, गरीबी और कठिनाइयों में बीता। 6 वर्ष की उम्र में पिता का देहांत और फिर मां अंजनी माशेलकर ने अकेले अपने बेटे के सपनों का भार संभाला। स्वयं केवल तीसरी कक्षा तक पढ़ी थी, पर बेटे को सीखने और आगे बढ़ने से कभी नहीं रोका। मुंबई की झुग्गियों में जीवन, नंगे पांव स्कूल जाने की मजबूरी, नोटबुक न होने की तकलीफ, इन सब के बावजूद छोटे रमेश का मन पढ़ाई के प्रति अटल रहा। उनकी मेहनत ने चमत्कार किया। 1,35,000 छात्रों में महाराष्ट्र बोर्ड की एसएससी की परीक्षा में 11वीं रैंक। एक ऐसा क्षण जिसने संघर्षों के अंधकार में आशा का उजाला भर दिया। इसके बाद की यात्रा निरंतर उन्नति की यात्रा रही। देश विदेश की यूनिवर्सिटीज में शिक्षा और अध्यापन और फिर 1976 में CSIR वैज्ञानिक एवं औद्योगिक अनुसंधान परिषद के साथ जुड़ना। 1989 में आप राष्ट्रीय केमिकल प्रयोगशाला के निदेशक बने और 1995 में CSIR के महानिदेशक। 40 राष्ट्रीय प्रयोगशालाओं का नेतृत्व करते हुए आपने भारत की वैज्ञानिक नीति, अनुसंधान और नवाचार को नए आयाम प्रदान किए। प्रधानमंत्री की वैज्ञानिक सलाहकार परिषद में 30 से अधिक वर्षों तक योगदान देकर डॉक्टर माशेलकर ने भारत के तकनीकी भविष्य की दिशा निर्धारित की। डॉक्टर माशेलकर की एक सबसे उल्लेखनीय उपलब्धि रही है विश्व में पारंपरिक भारतीय ज्ञान संपदा की रक्षा करना। जब अमेरिका ने हल्दी के औषधीय गुणों और बासमती चावल पर अपना पेटेंट प्राप्त कर लिया था, तब भारत की परंपरा और ज्ञान को चुनौती मिली थी। इस चुनौती का सामना करने के लिए अकेले खड़े हुए डॉक्टर माशेलकर ने 14 महीने की कठिन लड़ाई लड़ी और अंततः अमेरिका को यह पेटेंट वापस लेना पड़ा। इस विजय ने दुनिया को यह संदेश दिया कि भारत का पारंपरिक ज्ञान अजेय है। इसी के बाद उन्हें सम्मान पूर्वक हल्दी घाटी का वीर कहा जाने लगा। वैज्ञानिक योगदान की दृष्टि से भी डॉक्टर माशेलकर का काम अद्वितीय रहा है। नॉन न्यूटोनियन फ्लूइड मैकेनिक्स, सुपर मॉलिक्यूलर थेराप्यूटिक्स, पॉलीमर इंजीनियरिंग और कॉम्प्लेक्स फ्लूइड्स पर उनकी व्यापक रिसर्च ने पूरी दुनिया को एक नई दिशा दी। 250 से अधिक वैज्ञानिक शोध पत्र और ज्ञान का ऐसा भंडार जिसने भारत और विश्व दोनों को समृद्ध किया है। इसके लिए आपको पद्मश्री, पद्म भूषण और भारत के सर्वोच्च नागरिक सम्मानों में से एक पद्म विभूषण से सम्मानित किया गया। अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर भी डॉक्टर माशेलकर ने भारत का चमकता सितारा बनकर ऊंचाइयों को छूने में कोई कोर कसर नहीं छोड़ी। आप पहले भारतीय रहे जिन्हें TWAS लेनोवो साइंस प्राइज मिला। आप नेशनल एकेडमी ऑफ इन्वेंटर्स USA के पहले भारतीय फेलो भी बने। JRD टाटा कॉर्पोरेट लीडरशिप अवार्ड प्राप्त करने वाले आप अब तक के एकमात्र वैज्ञानिक हैं। लंदन की रॉयल सोसाइटी सहित विश्व की अनेक प्रतिष्ठित वैज्ञानिक संस्थाओं ने डॉक्टर माशेलकर को फेलो के रूप में सम्मानित किया है। डॉक्टर माशेलकर देश की कई प्रतिष्ठित कंपनियों के बोर्ड में भी शामिल रहे हैं। आप रिलायंस इंडस्ट्रीज लिमिटेड, टाटा मोटर्स, हिंदुस्तान यूनिलीवर, थर्मैक्स लिमिटेड, पीरामल एंटरप्राइज, KPIT टेक्नोलॉजीज, गोदरेज एग्रोवेट और अन्य प्रतिष्ठित कंपनियों के बोर्ड में बतौर स्वतंत्र निदेशक अपनी महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभा चुके हैं। डॉक्टर माशेलकर का जीवन उन असंख्य बच्चों के लिए प्रकाश स्तंभ है जो अभावों की मिट्टी में जन्म लेते हैं पर सपनों को आसमान देने का साहस रखते हैं। आपने सिद्ध किया है कि शून्य से शिखर तक की यात्रा संघर्ष की आंच, ज्ञान के प्रकाश और मानवता की सेवा से ही संभव है। सेवा की इसी भावना एवं उद्देश्य के दृष्टिगत आपने अपनी पूज्यनीय माताजी के नाम पर 14 वर्ष पहले अंजनी माशेलकर फाउंडेशन की स्थापना की। यह फाउंडेशन ऐसी उच्च प्रौद्योगिकी को सम्मानित और प्रोत्साहित करती है जो गरीबों के लिए काम आ सके, ताकि उनके जीवन में समृद्धि और खुशहाली का वातावरण निर्मित हो। आज हम आपके द्वारा इंजीनियरिंग के क्षेत्र में 54 मानद डॉक्टरेट्स की उपाधि प्राप्त करने का उत्सव मना रहे हैं। राष्ट्र को गौरवान्वित करने वाले ऐसे सुखद क्षण पर हम गहन गर्व और कृतज्ञता के साथ आपका हार्दिक अभिनंदन करते हैं और ईश्वर से प्रार्थना करते हैं कि आप दीर्घायु हों, स्वस्थ रहें, ताकि आपकी ज्योति, आपका ज्ञान और आपका सेवा भाव यूं ही वैश्विक मानवता को आलोकित करता रहे। पुनः आपका हार्दिक स्वागत, वंदन एवं अभिनंदन।
I think 5 minutes also cannot do justice to the legacy that Dr. Mashelkar has created, but this is just a glimpse of his impact. I think we can all give a big, big round of applause for the length, breadth, the scale, scope, complexity of impact that he's created. Ladies and gentlemen, our next set is truly going to be very special, and it would be right to say that we have arrived at the defining moment of this evening, a moment that will be etched in history and in our hearts together. Tonight, we celebrate not just an achievement, but a rare phenomena. Padma Vibhushan Dr. Raghunath Anant Mashelkar has accomplished what very few in the world can truly dream of. An extraordinary national record of receiving 52 honorary doctorates in engineering that Mr. Ambani was stating that felt like he was garnering air miles. He made it look like so seamless, but behind the curtain there's a lot of hard work that has gone in it. Think about it, 54 doctorates. Each one is a testament of decades of relentless pursuit of knowledge, innovation, and focus to serve humanity. This is not just a number, ladies and gentlemen. It's a deep-rooted narrative of excellence and saga of brilliance. From pioneering research to shaping national policies, from championing inclusive innovation to mentoring countless minds, his life has been a beacon of possibilities. 54 doctorates are not just accolades, they're affirmations of a life dedicated to science with purpose and innovation with compassion. So at this juncture, I'd like to call the following dignitaries on stage to really give the felicitation and acknowledgement to Dr. Mashelkar in a grand way. So I'd like to call on stage the following dignitaries, beginning with our chief guest, Honorable Shri Chandrakant Patilji. Sir, if you could join us here. And our guest of honor, Shri Mukesh Dhirubhai Ambani, Padma Vibhushan Professor Manmohan Sharma, Mr. Shailesh Haribhakti, Mr. Neeraj Bajaj, Mr. Nadir Godrej, Mr. Kripashankar Tiwari, Mr. Alok Ranjan Tiwari, Mrs. Sulaja Firodia Motwani, Mr. Nikhil and Hetal Meswani, Mr. Ajay Piramal, and Mrs. Mashelkar too. I think this is an incredible moment. Vaishali ma'am, aa jaiye na. And Mr. Deepak Parekh too, for this amazing, exhilarating moment as we felicitate a luminary, a phenomena. 44 doctorate degrees is epoch-making, monumental, and historic in its own right, and I think it only makes sense that we freeze this moment in time. And joining the dignitaries on stage, can I also call on stage Mr. Shekhar Bajaj to be here with us? And most importantly, we need Dr. Mashelkar because it's his felicitation and he's here. Lovely. Ladies and gentlemen, this memento represents what he stands for. Engineering, problem solving, serving, and creating ingenious solutions which almost at every juncture looked impossible at the onset. Come on, can we give a huge, huge round of applause for this truly special moment. Uh, I have one important message from the photographers. He's requesting all of you if you could come at the center so that he could click a picture. Which आप कन्विंस हुए या वो और कन्विंस हो गए आप? थैंक यू फोटोग्राफर्स, थैंक यू. Can I request all the dignitaries to stay back? Nadir sir, you can take your seat. Mrs. Motwani, you can take your seat. Bajaj sir, you can take your seat, but rest of you. I had the distinguished honor and pleasure of listening to Dr. Mashelkar a year back when he gave his keynote, talking about the story of where he began and where he reached. And I think in a nutshell, all I could sense from that keynote was कि डर मुझे भी लगा फासला देखकर, लेकिन मैं बढ़ता गया आगे रास्ता देखकर, खुद ब खुद मेरे करीब आती गई मेरी मंजिल मेरा हौसला देखकर. And I think at this juncture, no one else can do justice to the determination, to the perseverance he's actually exhibited across a variety of situations and tell the story behind what it took to become Dr. Mashelkar. So, sir, can we have the distinguished honor of you joining us and telling your story with all of us? We are very curious to hear from you.
परमादरणीय Shri Chandrakant Dada Patil, our beloved Dada, as we call him, my guru, guide, philosopher, because of whom I am what I am today, Professor M.M. Sharma, our most beloved Mukesh Bhai, Shailesh ji, and members of all the organizing committee, the great corporate leadership that I see in front of me, Kripashankar ji, Alok. You know, I'm never short of words, but today it is impossible to say what I exactly feel. I'll never be able to do justice to this evening and the celebration. I was born on 1st January 1943, so I did a calculation. So this is the 30,284th evening of my life. And I would say one of the most inspiring, most memorable, most emotional evening of my life. I want to thank Dada. I know you came all the way from Kolhapur. I want to thank my Guruji. He has a back pain, and at the same time he had another engagement, by the way, of our UDCT Alumni Association, where there was a celebration. But he's here to bless me. And Mukesh Bhai, I know you're going to go abroad and you made a shift in the program to be here to bless me. Thank you all. I feel like the richest man in the world today in terms of the goodwill capital that I have earned. Kripashankar ji and Alok, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for gifting one of the best evenings of my life, this precious evening. Today is the International Human Solidarity Day. UN designated the celebration of human solidarity as a fundamental value of international relations and a moral imperative for global development and its people. And that underpins the UN Charter alongside peace, dignity, equity, and justice. And therefore, release of this book, More from Less for More, actually on this day, on the International Human Solidarity Day, I think is very, very important. And Kripashankar ji, I would like to give you the credit for thinking of this day for the release of this book and linking this more up from less for more concept along with this celebration. So I think the most important point of this day, 20th December, is basically how do you, I mean, when you look at MLM, more from less for more, the concept, in terms of shared humanity, how I think MLM actually operationalizes that humanity by converting compassion into capacity, equality of equity in terms of action. And it proves that even in a world of income inequality, access equality is not a moral dream, but a design choice. And solidarity is the value MLM in its most scalable expression, I would put it this way. And true solidarity is not about charity after inequality is created, but it is about designing systems where health, education, energy, and other human needs are accessible to all. When a service reaches millions at near zero marginal cost, like what we have done, Mukesh Bhai, and when dignity is delivered through innovation, that is solidarity in action. So to me, more from less for more has this connotation of an affordable excellence. We are not talking about less from less, we are talking about more from less. And I must say I have two gurus here in terms of more from less for more. One is Professor M.M. Sharma. I did my PhD under him, 1966 to 69, 3 years. I learned so many things, including the values of fairness. You know, I still remember my first paper was, in fact, there were 3 papers. One was Sharma and Mashelkar, the second was Mashelkar and Sharma, and the third was Mashelkar alone. He didn't want to put his name on that paper. And he's the only one that I know, in his CV, there is a mention of students under him who have produced independent papers without his name. He's the only one. Those are the values he actually taught us. But he taught us more from less for more, because, you know, when I was doing my PhD, I remember 10,000 rupees a year was the contingency money through which we had to do research. So it was truly less. And I remember we used to beg and borrow. Basically, I remember Sulphonane taking the tin and going to NoSil. And Mukesh Bhai, now that NoSil is the one where Jio has sprung up as a global power. I still remember doing that. Or the perplexed columns which his friend Raj Purohit was kind enough to gift us. So when we talk about less, it was almost zero budget. But the outcome was excellence. Outcome was research papers in the topmost journals. And I still remember the tripartite chemical engineering conference where you presented our work on bubble columns, you know, with great pride. So it was truly more from less for more. The second guru is Mukesh Bhai. In fact, I had the privilege of being on the board of Reliance for 17 years, but I knew Reliance even before that, had interactions with most revered Dhirubhai Ambani, we call him Papa. And I remember Mukesh Bhai setting always targets for me. For example, when my 80th birthday was celebrated in UD City, my alma mater, I remember your message that you gave saying that, Doc, you have to do more in next 10 years than you have done in the last 80 years of your life. Very easy target. I hope I'm rising to your expectations. I think the release of this book when I am 83 is hard work. Of course, the book should have been Sushil Borde and Raghunath Mashelkar. He has done bulk of the work and the credit goes to him. I think he deserves a big round of applause. But he was gracious enough to put my name first. And we have been, if I may put it this way, both of us, because he heads the Reliance Innovation Leadership Center, both of us, both me and Sushil, have been students of Mukesh Ambani MLM school, more from less for more school. And I honestly mean that because as he mentioned, there is a full chapter on Jio in our book, More from Less for More. And revered Dhirubhai Ambani, Papa, as we call him, had given us this dream of phone call at the cost of a postcard. That was MLM. But you executed it, Mukesh Bhai, and went far beyond and gave voice free. You did not just go for playing the game better, you changed the game for ever, for altogether. And when Jio launched 4G LTE services, that was excellence at its best when people were talking about 2G and 3G. And that was done at 5% of the prevailing price as far as data was concerned, and voice was free. Okay? So therefore, it was affordability at its best. So when we talk about affordable excellence, I like Mukesh Bhai when you call Jio the philanthropy of internet. That's a beautiful way of putting it. And indeed, Jio transformed India from a voice-poor, data-starved economy to a digital powerhouse, achieving MLM at a scale that lifted millions, the digital transformation of India that we actually look at. And therefore, the first chapter in the More from Less for More book is Jio. And there is so much to learn. In fact, Sushil was telling me he was in London Business School and they got the book More from Less for More, and they looked at the first chapter on Jio and they said, we will actually teach a course on MLM with Jio as a classic study of what you can do at scale and make a difference. You can just imagine its impact. And the book does something, by the way. It showed that it was not deep pockets that were responsible for achieving Jio, which were deep innovation in every sense of the way. Please read that, what has gone behind it. I don't have the time to sort of talk about it. There are a couple of more points I like to make. I'm being honored for receiving 54 honorary doctorates, but I owe it to my mother. She has been referred to, my beginnings of my life have been referred to. Yes, I was born in Marshall, a poor village in Goa. My father died when I was 6. My mother never went to school, could barely read or write. And she brought me to Mumbai in search of a job. 2 meals a day was a challenge. I remember there are nights when I've gone hungry. I walked barefoot until I was 12. I studied under street lights. Naresh is here, my friend. I remember our studying, the Janjira Motor Works used to have benches where there was enough light, we used to study there. And my fortune changed when I stood 11th among 155,000 students, then got a Tata scholarship and then went on to study. But my mother was always struggling because every day she had to find some new job, and one day she had gone in Prarthana Samaj, there was this Congress house, and when her turn came, she was asked as to whether she was third standard pass. She said, I never went to school. She never lied, by the way. She could have lied by saying that, yes, I am, because there is no certificate for third standard. But she said, no, I never went to school, so she was denied the job. And when she was coming back, she said, why have I been insulted? Because I don't have the benefit of education. And I'm going to make sure that my son get the highest degree or highest whatever it is possible in education. And I remember, sir, you will remember that when I joined you for PhD, after became a under our circumstances, with such extreme poverty, anybody would have taken trouble. She said, no, you will do PhD. And then I had scholarships from abroad. I didn't go abroad because I could not have found a better guru than Professor M.M. Sharma. I did my PhD here. I'm proud to be a Swadeshi product in every sense of the way. And I remember after my finishing PhD also, she didn't want me to take a job. She said, further, what else? I did postdoctoral research, Leverhulme Research Fellow, and the rest. But the important point was that when I got my 25th honorary doctorate, and when I went to her and told her, she said, now I am satisfied. Now I can go. And amazingly, on 17 November 2006, she left us, I remember. So I think the point that I want to make is that when you are felicitating me for this national record in engineering PhDs, although she is no more, she is there everywhere, I feel that she must be smiling and saying, I didn't get a job because I did not pass third standard, didn't go to school, but my son has created a national record. She must be happy, and I'm happy for her. The other point I want to make is, you know, we talked about more from less for more. The theory has to follow practice, basically. And I created, as was mentioned, Anjani Mashelkar Foundation in her name. And there is an interesting story on that also, where she is responsible. I used to be the Director General of CSIR in Delhi for 11.5 years. My mother was in Pune, and I used to come during the weekend. I never left research. Friday evening I will come. Saturday, Sunday I'll be in the lab. Sunday night I'll go back. And while going, whatever money I had in my pocket, I would give it to her. And I remember that we never asked her what she did with that money. But Shruti, who is here, basically after she passed away, she was looking at her cupboards, her saris and all, and she found all that money stacked there with a little note in Marathi. Translating in English, it was saying that don't forget our roots, do something for those who do science for the poor. Not the exact translation, but that's what she meant. And that is where I remember getting a big award at that time also. I put all that money and created that Anjani Mashelkar Foundation. But this foundation actually was trying to set some benchmarks. For example, I'm not a great believer in best practice because you are copying somebody's practice, which already exists. I'm a believer in next practice. So the challenge was to create that next practice. And the challenge was actually also creating affordable excellence, which we had learned, as I said, in the Mukesh Ambani school on MLM. And the awardees, I will just give you an example, they really go for affordable excellence. Like, for example, Mukesh bhai, we were talking about artificial intelligence, is a strong proponent of AI as a transformative agent. I think Reliance Intelligence is a testimony to that. And there is this award that goes to Shwasa. What is Shwasa? You have your mobile with you. The audiometry of that is trained by artificial intelligence to recognize cough as a biomarker. Okay, so if you have tuberculosis, you'll get a different signature, and if you have some other sort of COPD, that is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, you will get another one. And can you just imagine what difference it is making? Because normally, if you have COPD, you have to go for a spirometer, which costs 1.5 lakh of rupees. In villages, you don't have them, basically. And here, the capital cost is zero because you already have the mobile. It takes around 30 to 45 minutes. Here it is instant, you just cough. And a spirometric test would take about 1,000 rupees, 500 to 1,000 rupees. Here it is just 20 rupees. More from less for more. And what is most important, Mukesh bhai, I'm very proud to tell you, was that each of these awardees has deep science rooted in it. For example, this work, Shwasa, there are 2 papers in Nature. Entire India does not produce even 10 papers in Nature, by the way. That is the kind of science. So high science level, you kept on talking about deep tech, deep science. It is this that is happening. We have focused in Anjani Mashelkar Foundation on diagnosis and screening. Because 90% of the battle is lost there. There is this article in Indian Express recently which showed that 90% of the deaths in breast cancer are because of late detection. Supposing you have early detection, it makes no difference. How do you move from best practice to next practice? Best practice is mammography. Painful, radiation, expensive, and not available to anybody from village. Now we are given an award to what is called as an eye breast, where you have a device which you just move around, all right? And non-invasively it tells you whether you have it or not. The cost, just 100 rupees. And in 20 countries, basically it is being used. More than 2 million women have been screened, and sort of path-breaking, I would say, non-invasive device. So what we are trying to do is to use that technology where you touch, you cough, you see, and you know. Dada, we are grateful to you for the last award, Mukesh bhai, was you touch your finger and you know the sugar. Dada, I hope you are happy with what you are using. He is using that at the moment. You can see what difference it makes. And extreme affordability, because over the lifetime of a diabetic, it is 25 paise per test, so as to say, which is 100 times less than this. So we are not talking about 10% less, 10 times less, 100 times less, all right? So all these are going to make a big difference. So I must give credit to Sushil. It was his thinking that we should assemble all these technological breakthroughs together, and he has created what is called as FX. FX is Affordable Excellence. There is a kit where these devices have been put. So you put your finger, you know your hemoglobin, you know your sugar, you put your 2 fingers, you know your blood pressure, you know the condition of your heart, your lung, and so on and so forth. All right? And what does it cost? It is just 100 rupees, and in 10 minutes you know about 20 indicators. 20 indicators in 10 minutes for close to 100 rupees. This is affordable excellence. And at the moment, we are trying to take it through a variety of partnerships. And we will make a special presentation to you, Mukesh bhai, because I know this is something very close to your heart, and any one of you can help in making this happen. I think we'll make sort of a big difference. And particularly, I'm very happy that this is actually made in India for the world. Affordable excellence, because as long as it is excellence, the whole world would want it. And as long as it is extremely affordable, India will benefit from it. This is the dual purpose of what we are trying to do. I don't know how to end. I will only promise, I don't know how many years I've left in my life, but till the last day of my life, I promise you, I'll try to do my best, the very best, and nothing but the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mashelkar, for that heartfelt, truly candid address. You always speak from the heart and taking us through the stories and experiences that have shaped more from less for more. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. At this point, I would request you to all be seated because we still have an interesting segment left. We are still not towards the end and conclusion. We have a little something planned for all of you. So dignitaries, I would request the next segment, you don't have to put a earphone because we have a live artist coming in front of you. And I'll just unravel who that artist is going to be. Ladies and gentlemen, poetry has a way of touching hearts where prose cannot, and tonight we have the privilege of experiencing that magic from someone who has truly mastered this art. Mr. Nadir Godrej, Chairman and Managing Director of Godrej Industries Group, is not just a visionary business leader, but also a poet whose words flow with wisdom, wit, and warmth. I still remember your last time poetry, sir, and it became the showstopper, and we've given you that link right now. So we are really looking forward to your poetry at this point.
What a distinguished group of guests. Dr. Mashelkar. He constantly pioneered a new way, having been born on New Year's Day. His early life was rough and tough, but this good student learnt his stuff. He started as a chemical engineer, but became a scientific seer. He has honorary doctorates galore. No other Indian now has more. Yes, Abdul Kalam earlier led, but recently Ram forged ahead. This book is ideal to commemorate his achievements, which are truly great. At UDCT, he got his start. Professor M.M. Sharma played a major part. Many brilliant graduates we see building India's chemical industry. Dr. Mashelkar helped industry for sure, but he went on to do much more. Promoting industry was indeed a goal. At Reliance, he played a major role. He helped me on the Godrej Agrovet board, and with innovative R&D we scored. But a greater contribution is what we see in building our nation's R&D. His 6-year stint at NCL really worked out very well. Global clients from many shores constantly thronged their doors. But Indian research truly went far when he headed CSIR, and Dr. Mashelkar always played a great role in achieving this noble goal. His brilliant reforms of IPR carried India very far. Traditional knowledge was always prized, but now the IPR is recognized. Ram pursued this with intellectual rigor, firm conviction, and purposeful vigor. As he taught in institutions all over the world, India's rising scientific brand was unfurled. Through the Anjani Mashelkar Foundation, he promoted inclusive innovation. They provide whatever help is sought with an extensive network of support. Amazing innovation is what one sees from each of the brilliant awardees. Many, of course, attempt to try, but their standards are set very high. High tech for the poor is their aim. Each year they seem to up their game. Good solutions are applied. The benefits spread far and wide. Let us build on his legacy. Pursuing science is the key. With the help of cutting-edge R&D, a Viksit Bharat is what we'll see. And it will be a glorious show. Not only will the economy grow, the benefits we hope will flow to everyone, both high and low. For he has shown us the way to a newer and brighter day. Thank you.
And with this poetry full of wit and warmth, can I request all the dignitaries to come together for the final time for a group picture? And I would also like to call on stage Mr. Neeraj Bajaj and Mrs. Sulajja Motwani for the group picture. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time. With this, we come towards the conclusion and culmination. And at this point, I would like to hand over the stage to Mrs. Sulajja Motwani, founder and CEO of Kinetic Green Energy and Power Solutions Limited, to render a vote of thanks. Thank you so much. We can all take our seats right now. Thank you.
The most eminent personalities on the dais, the distinguished guests of this evening, ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to all of you. As we draw this fantastic evening to a close, it's my absolute privilege on behalf of the organizing committee to extend a heartfelt gratitude to all those who have made this evening possible and memorable. Today we've all gathered here to celebrate a truly extraordinary individual, Dr. Raghunath Mashelkar, a Padma Vibhushan awardee, and a hero of science in every way. Dr. Mashelkar is one in a billion personality, a man who has dedicated his life to the nation, to the advancement of science and technology. With the most unique distinction of receiving 54 honorary doctorates, and with countless accolades to his name, he stands as a beacon of innovation and inspiration. Dr. Mashelkar, on behalf of everyone here, and personally, I would like to thank you for your presence in our lives, for your light and love. Just having an opportunity to meet you, to get to know you, to spend time with you is a privilege. Friends, I'm here today also because our Firodia family and I are indebted to Dr. Mashelkar for his great contribution and for being the driving force behind the H.K. Firodia Awards in Science and Technology. As the chairperson of the awards committee, his vision, his passion, and commitment have been absolutely central to conceptualizing these awards in the memory of my late grandfather, Mr. H.K. Firodia, a staunch believer in science and technology himself, and to making these awards extremely prestigious and one of the most sought after recognition for those who have achieved pinnacles of success in the field of science. Our today's special guests, Professor M.M. Sharma ji, Mukesh Ambani ji, Deepak Parekh ji, who've been chief guests at the H.K. Firodia Awards, I'm sure have felt this passion of Dr. Mashelkar to this cause. One very remarkable memory that has touched my heart forever and will be etched in my memory, something that actually makes us realize what Mukesh Ambani ji said, that Dr. Mashelkar is not only a man of accomplishment, but a great human being. Truly a rare individual. This was in year 2006 when Dr. Mashelkar lost his most important and loved person in his life, his mother. And just a few days later, he participated in the H.K. Firodia Awards with as much passion and commitment as he did every year. I mean, to me, this is the most rare display or, expression of love, commitment, discipline, values, and passion. He truly is a rare individual. So thank you, Dr. Mashelkar, for being a true hero, for being our guiding light. Please accept our sincere thanks and best wishes on this very special day. We absolutely love you. Today, we're deeply honored by the presence of our chief guest, Shri Chandrakant Patil ji, whose words and encouragement have added immense value to this gathering. Dhanyavad Patil Sahib for presiding over this function. We're equally privileged to have with us Professor M.M. Sharma, a legend of India, and as he is known, an encyclopedia of chemical engineering and technology. So your presence has greatly enriched the celebration of science and technology today. We extend our sincere most gratitude to our guest of honor, Shri Mukesh Ambani ji, the foremost industrialist of India, whose own contributions to technology and science and industry have transformed the nation's landscape. I'm your big fan, Mukesh ji. Thank you very much for being with us today. A very special word of thanks to the organizing committee members, Chairperson Mr. Shailesh Haribhakti ji, Mr. Neeraj Bajaj, Mr. Nadir Godrej, Mr. Harsh Mariwala, Mr. Satyajit Tambe, Mr. Ravi Pandit, Mr. Kripashankar Tiwari, and Mr. Alok Ranjan Tiwari. Your tireless efforts and dedication and passion have been the backbone of this event. You put your heart and soul into its success, and tonight's memorable gathering is a testament to your invaluable contribution. We also wish to acknowledge the sponsors whose generous support has made this evening possible. And last but certainly not the least, it's a pleasure to thank each and every one of you, all the distinguished guests who have come here this evening. Your presence has added energy, warmth, and meaning to this celebration. And the most special thanks to the members of the Mashelkar family. We wish you happiness, health, and love on this special day. As we close, friends, and absolutely in the shadow of the amazing poem by Mr. Godrej, let me just add a few verses from heart for Dr. Mashelkar. In the heart of science, you lit a flame, a billion dreams carried in your name. From less to more, for many, for all, you showed us how nations rise tall. Tonight we honor, tonight we say, your light will guide India's way. And as we leave tonight, let's carry forward Dr. Mashelkar's mantra and a very special message, more from less for more, and let it guide us to build an India that is prosperous and progressive, yet inclusive and sustainable, and forever inspired by science and innovation. Thank you all once again, and a very good evening to all of you. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Motwani, for that apt vote of thanks. With this, ladies and gentlemen, we come towards a conclusion. We are now open for dinner, networking, conversations that spark collaboration and changes. This is your host, Ridhimavali, signing off. Thank you so much, each and every one of you. Thank you.